Thor woke up from his nap just so that he could make this appearance today. And you're not even going to show your face on camera. Oh, there's your face. Hi, honey. What you doing? Can you say hi? Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Oh, big yawn. Big sleepy dog. Hello there, everybody. How's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and I am here with my next update video. First things first, I kind of just want to say that I don't think today's going to be a very long video because I don't have a ton to show, and I'm not feeling great. I'm kind of still dealing with the same cold that I was dealing with last week. It seems to have made a resurgence within the last week, and so yeah, I'm still kind of working through it. So if I'm a little bit soft-spoken, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to project as best I can. But in doing so, I'm going to have to cut it short because it's not going to last for very long. And like I said, I don't have a ton to show. I'm only working on very few things, and I don't have a whole lot in the way of purchases, so this should be a pretty quick one. Before I start talking stitchy stuff, I just want to say thank you to all of my subscribers and to everybody who leaves their wonderful comments. I was going through past videos today and pulling out any questions and reading comments, and you guys are awesome. I don't think I say it enough, and I certainly don't say it effectively enough, but I really appreciate you guys. So yeah. I'm also not going to try very hard to avoid the ums and the so's and the yas today, because it's just going to happen. Okay, one other thing is I wanted to talk about what's on my head. I am wearing a hat that I knit earlier this year, and this is the Starfighter slouch hat, and it is by Tracy Cox, and it's supposed to be Star Wars inspired. And then what I knit it out of, I knit it using Blue Moon Fiber Arts Marine Silk Worsted, which is I can tell you right here, it's 51% silk, 29% merino, and 20% nylon. So it will hold up, but it's super silky and smooth. It was a really nice, fun knit. The pattern got a little bit tedious, especially in the body of the hat, because you see all those eyelets there. And they are directional eyelets, but alternating, so it was a little bit mind intensive, more so than I'm used to for a hat. And the colorway that I used is an exclusive for Eat Sleep Knit. It's called Vader, and so it's dark grays that are, I think they're meant to be black, but because of the silk content they dye a little bit differently. And then there's some spots of red and white, cream, and even a little bit of blue in there. I really loved working with this yarn. Blue Moon Fiber Arts is one of my favorites. They have some really interesting bases, and the Marine Silk Worsted is no different. So yeah, just kind of wanted to take a second and tell you what I'm wearing that's hand knit. So yeah, I was going to wear a shawl, but I ended up not finding one that really worked along with the hat, so just one hand knit today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the questions. I have just a few questions from my last few videos. So the first is coming from Stephanie at Stephanie's Tiny X's, whose channel will absolutely be linked below this time. I'm sorry I haven't done the links for last week's videos yet, but there were 2 videos, so it was a lot of links, and I haven't done that yet. Anyway, so her question is this. Do you find Petite Treasure Braid or Krennic easier to work with? I've never used Krennic, and I'm kind of intimidated by it. I've been using the PTB in Giant Harry Potter and love it. Just wondering what your thoughts are. So, Petite Treasure Braid is so much easier to work with than Krennic. There are some Petite Treasure Braids that are, I think I called it extra crunchy. Sorry, I'm going to silence my iPad. They're what I call extra crunchy, meaning that the braid is super thick and the metallic is just, it's not very smooth. But even the super crunchy Petite Treasure Braids are easier to work with than Krennic. Now, Krennic is a much better alternative than the DMC metallics, and Krennic doesn't really bother me much at all. I just really like Petite Treasure Braid. Part of that, I think, has to do with the way that it is manufactured is not the word, but how it's wound up. So, the Petite Treasure Braid comes on a card, so you do get some kinks every now and again, but the Krennic is wound up on a spool, and so it's twisty, it's like a big corkscrew, and so it really easily can get knotted up. I know that a lot of people say that with metallics you should use shorter lengths. With Petite Treasure Braid, I don't. I use my standard, I use about a 2-foot length with Petite Treasure Braid. Krennic, I might cut it down a little bit smaller than that, but not much. And I don't have any issues with it. Another thing that people say is to use Thread Heaven, and I'm just going to put this out here now. I don't use Thread Heaven ever, like at all. I have a box of Thread Heaven, and I haven't touched it. I'm too impatient for that, so I don't use it at all. But as I said, long story short, Petite Treasure Braid is better than Krennic, but Krennic isn't bad either. So if you can't find a color in Petite Treasure Braid, or you don't want to wait for it to ship from a box store, or you don't have an LNS, and you want to use Krennic instead, it's fine. It's just Petite Treasure Braid I think is easier. Okay, Sheila S. asks, that bag that hangs on the handle behind you, the black and white one, what does the text say? And so I took it down, which is why you can't see it behind me today. But I just kind of wanted to show it to you. It says, Jessie Marie Reads, there on the cover of it. And this is the logo for my book blog. I had this bag made for when I went to Book Expo America. I don't know if I said that right or not. Anyway, I went to BEA in 2014, and so I had this bag made so that I was recognizable, because floss tube, you see my face, you know who I am, but in the book blog world, that's not necessarily the case. And so I just kind of wanted like some self-promotion advertising while I was walking around BEA. And this bag was so excellent for that. I was able to carry quite a few books, and they get heavy quick. You think they're all paperbacks, and they're all they're low-quality paperbacks because they're free advanced reader copies that you get at BEA. And so you'd think that they'd be a lot lighter, and they are, but it's a lot to carry around, especially walking around the Javits Center. So that's what that is. And that logo was created by Ashley from Nose Grays. She is the guru behind a lot of the coding in the book blogosphere. She does a lot of really unique things for book blogging and website design in general. And she designed my blog twice now, actually. So yeah, that came from her. Okay, Lori Graffor asks, she said, love your finish, you did a fantastic stitchy job. How are you going to FFO it? And she's referring to my Clouds Factory postcards from the world, I think. And I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to FFO that. I would really like to get it framed. I might try my hand at framing it myself, but I'm really nervous about framing myself. I've watched all the tutorials so many times, but as we all know, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've somehow absorbed this knowledge and you're now an expert at framing. And I'm going to try it, and we'll see what happens. I think that one is better served framed, I think. Or a wall hanging, but I don't sew, so. You'd think I was an advertisement for the online UK shop. Anyway, I can't sew. The plan is to frame. And then Katrina Gormley asks, whereabouts in Michigan will you be visiting? So my aunt lives in the Farmington Hills area. Here's the crazy thing. So I grew up in Michigan. I lived there for 17 and a half years. They say you say you're from Michigan when somebody asks you where you're from or where you're going or where you're taking vacation, and so we always, right? I don't know where on this map, or I guess it's, no. I can't remember if it's flips around or not. Anyway, I can't remember where on this map Farmington Hills is. I know it's in the Lower Peninsula, and I know it's somewhere around Detroit, but I couldn't tell you. I feel like a terrible person because I don't know where anything is. It's the way it goes. You move and you make your home somewhere else, and that's what happens. So yeah, we will be in the Farmington Hills area, and I'm going to try to get up to Frankenmuth because Danny's never been to Frankenmuth, and that's an experience, especially around Christmas time, so I'd really like to get him up there. I'd also like to do an apple orchard next fall or the fall after. At some point during the fall, I'd really like to go to Weird's, but this trip, Farmington Hills. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started on the stitchy things. The first thing that I'm going to show you is my Fantasy Sow. This is by Lakeside Needlecraft and Durain Jones, and when I spoke to you guys last week, I was actively working on this. And, well, not during the video. You know what I mean. Anyway, I'm stitching this on a 32 count Belfast linen in Heroic by Picture This Plus, and you'll be seeing here what it looked like last week. I was part the way through my December fairy, and I have since finished her. So let me go ahead and bring her in close. I finished her up on Sunday morning, after the Virginia Tech Clemson ACC championship game. Congrats to the Tigers. We stuck it out, apparently. I must have been sicker than I thought because I fell asleep watching the game. I don't even know what that is. I did. I dozed off. So I missed the end of it. And Danny woke me up and I was like, did we win? No, we didn't. But we kept it pretty close. We did pretty good. So anyway, I finished this on Sunday morning. And I think she's really cute. I told you guys my story that her name is Mari, and a special shout out here to Laurel for getting a super kick out of that. I'm so glad that your humor aligns with my own because I would have been highly amused by that as well. Anyway, so some changes that I made. I stitched her skin 1/1. I also did the dark blue snowflakes, as well as these, I guess they're Smyrna crosses. There's one there, there's one there. as well as the back stitch on her wings, I did in Petite Treasure Braid number 204, which is just a pretty blue color. I wanted to make her wings sparkle and to make the snow look like it was sparkling. It looked kind of drab on this brown background, so I wanted to make it look a little bit more whimsical. So that's what I did there. And here is where it stands, the whole design as of now. So in the beginning of January, we'll get the next block for this one up here. And I'm going to spend some more concentrated effort working on that border because there's so much border left for me to do. And apparently I have some unfinished circles. So I'll have to finish that up. As well as these center sections here, these little diamond sections. I have to, I think I'm going to have to rechart those sections because they happen to sit right at a page change on the chart. And the way that this was charted, there's no overlap. So I get dizzy all the time, like, okay, am I on the right line? So I think I'm going to rechart that using just some basic graph paper so that I can get that wrapped around my head a little bit better because I get confused, which is why those aren't even close to done. So yeah, there's the fantasy saw. Okay. All right, now the next thing that I have been working on is my mini pirate by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork here is by Sabine Rich, and I actually found my cover page the other day. So that's what she will look like finished. Sassy lady that she is. Now, I just want to apologize that my Instagram followers have been getting a ton of updates with this project as of late, because I am trying to do these daily update photos on Instagram. So, we're going to get another update here today. So, let's see here. I'm going to insert a preview of what it looked like last week. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like now. I've made really good progress, you guys. Today is day 6 of working on this page. And that's where I'm at. So, needle minder talk real quick. Redskins needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. And the gold coin piece of 8 from Nifty Needle Nannies. Both of which are linked below. So, I've done some pretty good things here. I finished up that column that was kind of partially empty there. And then I've been working in rows for the second half of the page to work my way down. And as you can see, at least I hope you can see, I'm getting into her face now. Let me move that hair clip. It always makes people think of a spider. I'm just going to take it down. So yeah, I'm really pleased. And I love how it's looking. Anyway, I'm really, really proud of it. I set a goal to have the page finished by this weekend. And then a couple days ago I was like, I only have 2,000 stitches left. I'm going to see if I can get it done by end of day Friday. Yesterday I ended up only getting a few hundred stitches done, so I thought, well, that means that I've got about 1,400 to do today. And that seems like mission impossible because, in particular, her face and her hair coming down at the nape of her neck, it's a lot of confetti in those 2 blocks there, and so they take a long time. Those few blocks, not 2 blocks. There's a few face and hair blocks that are pretty heavy with the confetti. So those slow me down quite a bit. So this morning I'm stitching away and I ended up getting 4 blocks done. Well, okay, so I had two blocks done, and I texted Dina and I'm like, you know what? I've got 2 options here. I'm going to push through these next 2 blocks. If I get them both done, all the way done by noon, then I'm going to make a push and try to finish the page tonight. If I don't get them done by noon, then I'm going to stop stitching and record. I didn't get them done by noon. I had 4 or 5 stitches to do after the turn of the clock, and as much as I wanted to be like, you know what, screw this, I'm just gonna stitch, I thought, well, no, I made this deal with myself. I'm gonna record. It's not a very long video today, so it's not impossible that once I get it uploading, that I can't maybe try to push anyway. However, I have 9 blocks left. It's a little less than 900 stitches because the bottom row is only 8 by 10. So 80 stitches per block there. I'm averaging between the fast blocks and the super slow blocks about an hour a block. Because those confetti heavy blocks, I mean, we're talking 40 to 60 colors in a 10 by 10 square. It's a lot of colors. So I've essentially got about 9 hours left. So if I can get this uploading by 2, we shall see. So I will let you guys know next week. So Sarah from Tipsy Stitcher is working on her pirate, at least for these last few days. Hers is the full-size version. And, you know, we talk about Heaven and Earth designs and how the minis lose detail. And you can definitely see it. You can definitely see where detail is lost between hers and mine. Because, like, for instance, those ropes in that top corner there, in the full-size version, they're very well defined. You can tell that they're ropes. Now, you can tell that they're ropes here, but it's so much more defined. You can see the twist in the rope. I was looking at mine and I'm like, man, you know, this is really, really pretty. It's looking really good. And then I looked at hers and I'm like, the feathers are defined in the full size. Whereas mine, you know, they get pretty fuzzy, especially the closer you look at it. But, so here's the thing. I think Sarah is working on page 5. And this is page 1. So her first 4 pages got her to about this line. So about the end of the hat, or the edge of the hat. So we're talking like maybe up to there. And I don't think any further over. No, in fact, so her first 4 pages are like, let me try to do this the right way here so that you can see what I'm trying to show you. So like from there up and like from there over. So mine's 12 pages, hers is like 40 pages. But anyway, I think it's really cool. Yes, there's detail lost, and I lament that a little bit, not gonna lie. This was a free start for me because I got it from the reward program for finishing Mini Pearl. So, you know, I couldn't get the full size. Because the minis are cheaper than the... Anyway. But when you step back and you're not up close on it, it looks pretty damn good. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So Heaven and Earth Designs recently announced, not necessarily the details, but the idea of the next challenge. The first challenge of 2017 is going to run from January 1st to March 3rd. And the details are on the new official Heaven and Earth Designs bulletin or Facebook page, so I'll link that below. But basically, the goal is just to get a page finish, and it don't matter what method you use. So I'm like, Sweet! I have 6 Heaven and Earth designs. I just have to pick one. But the stipulation is it has to be at least 7,300 stitches. And there's some requirements based on large format charts and story keep size patterns. The one that really gets to me is no feathering can be existing on the page that you're working on. What do I mean by feathering? Let me bring this in. Okay, so do you see those yellow stitches there that stretch over? And all these little extra stitches kind of on the edge of the page? That's feathering. So some stitchers will carry a color a little bit beyond the end of a page or the end of a column to avoid those column bumps. I've never done that with a page before, but I started doing that because I am seeing some lines between pages. Most notably on my April by Anna Dittman, I can see where the 2 pages are. I think that a wash and iron will help that. But just in case, I've decided to start feathering onto the next page a little bit. Some people do it much more significantly than I have here. But what this means for the Heaven and Earth Designs challenge is that I cannot do page 2 for the challenge because no feathering can exist whatsoever. It doesn't matter that the stitch count is still above the 7,300 required. It doesn't matter. I can't use that page. So that's a bummer. So basically what we're down to is that I have either April by Anna Dittman that I can work on, or a new start, or I can work the page below this one, or the page below on my In This Moment by Jeremiah Kettner. Or I can count out and try to trust the fact that I can count to 80, which is or is it 80? Yes, 80, the width of a page, to jump over to the next page. So I'm probably going to do April by Anna Dittman because I don't like any of those other methods. I have a Heaven and Earth Design new start planned for next year, but that's not going to happen until June, and I'm not trying to do that. So, okay, so let's switch gears and start talking about plans for the upcoming week. So first things first is that I should let you know that my next video will probably be happening on Tuesday. I am headed up north on Wednesday. Our flight is on Thursday, so I figure Tuesday's probably the best day to record. Because of that, I've changed up my plans a bit. I'm not taking stitching with me. It's too short of a visit, and I don't think I'm gonna have the time to actually do any stitching. So I'm switching it up to a different project. Originally I was going to work on my Ho 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 by Stony Creek. That will happen after we get back. Instead, I'm going to work on a project that I think I'm going to get done. And that is my 9 Ladies Dancing by Nora Corbett. My plan is to be able to start working on this pretty hardcore tomorrow. If not, no, it's going to be tomorrow no matter what. Whether I finish Mini Pirate today or tomorrow, that page, I won't work on this until tomorrow. But, nonetheless, so I'm going to have tomorrow, Hokies Don't Play, until December 29th, in our bowl game against the Arkansas Razorbacks. So, we don't have college football tomorrow. And then Sunday is the Redskins, but I'll just listen to that and I'll be stitchy, stitchy, stitchy all day because we'll be in town trying to take it easy. So, long and short is, I think I can get this done before we leave on Wednesday. I think. And so I'm going to try to do so. So, like I said, 9 Ladies Dancing by Nora Corbett. Here's what she will look like finished. And I'm stitching her on the required 28 count linen in China Pearl by Witchelt. Ta-da. So that is likely happening. I really hope to get that done before we go. I think that would be really great. The other thing that I'm going to be working on is my Christmas star, and I don't know why I didn't bring that over, but I'll just insert the clip from last week. The Christmas stars by Liz Almond. I'm stitching them on 28 count antique white cashel. And we have a visitor. Hello. He's so distracting. Are you licking the buttons on my shirt? Yes. Okay. So I'll be working on that, trying to get that finished up before we go, because those are supposed to be FFOs for my trip. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not holding myself to anything with that. So those are my plans as far as stitching is concerned for the next week, and I will, of course, update you next week before I head out. So let's talk about some retail therapy slash stash acquisition. I can't say that word, so I'm just going to keep calling it acquisition. Anyway, so I have just one thing that I purchased. This is my fabric of the month from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. I get a 32 count Belfast linen in the fat quarter size, so an 18 by 26. Yes. And this is, let me see if I can pronounce it right, Carriger. I know that the C is a hard C, because it's a Celtic C, but as far as the rest of it there, I'm not sure. You have any idea? No? Okay. So this is a beautiful, it's like pinks and mauves and greens. There's even like some hints of gray in there. Oh, I love this fabric. I haven't the slightest idea what I'm going to use it for, but I think it's just gorgeous. Really, really love that. I couldn't remember what the fabric of the month was, and so when it arrived, it was like a total surprise. I was super excited about that. And Thor's really bored with it. So that is just gorgeous, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. When the next one gets here, I'm going to tell you guys my plans with that. But yeah, so there's that. And then I got something yesterday that was totally unexpected. I didn't even know that this was coming. But I received from Brenda, for Brenda's Minders and More, a Christmas card. So thank you so much, Brenda. But she also sent some minders. So I'm just going to show you those. How cute! So there's another bulldog to go with my other one that's sitting on one of my projects somewhere. I can't remember where it was last. I think I just figured out where it is. Anyway, so she sent a little bulldog and a paw print, which is so cute, and a bone. Ah, I love those. Brenda, thank you so much. Let's switch gears again and we'll talk about books, and then we're going to call it a day. I have just a little bit to talk about with regards to books. I did finish a book, and it's got Thor drool on it. That's lovely. Quit. So the book I finished is Etiquette and Espionage. This is by Gail Carriger. It is book the first from the Finishing School series, and this was a lot of fun. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a fun read. It's quick. It's just a little over 300 pages, and it's I think I talked about this last week, but it's billed as YA, but I would really call it middle grade, just because of the age and maturity level of the main character, Sophronia. But it was really cute. The end. It's very steampunk. Lots of technological advancements, but 19th century, Victorian era. It's very, very cool. So at the end, there's actually, there are these things in this world called mechanimals, and one of them is a bulldog. I was like so excited about that. This is a lot of fun. If you are a reader of YA or you know a reader of YA, this is a good fun series. It is a quartet. There's 4 books in the series, and it's just witty. It's very fun. So yeah, check this out if you're interested. I would love to check out the rest of the series at some point, but everything is at some point, is it not? So I'm reading Victorian era, steampunk, middle grade. So yesterday I started this. I have very eclectic reading interests. So this is John Adams, and it's by David McCullough. And this is my second time trying to read this. I bought this book a few years ago, and tried to read it thinking that it was going to be just like an HBO television show. Now this is the book that the HBO television show is based off of, but it's not like a work of historical fiction. It reads like historical fiction, but it's not. This is nonfiction about John Adams. And I was just not in the right brain space to read it back then. But I am now. I'm also listening to the audiobook kind of back and forth because it is very dense material. This is history we're talking about. And it's at the founding of the United States. So it's pretty intense reading. And it's huge. It doesn't look very huge because this is a trade paperback version. But it uses very, very... Oh my gosh, there's an index at the end. And a bibliography. 4 pages. It's something like... Acknowledgement. There we go. It's something like 650 pages. It's a big book. But it's about John Adams, who I don't know enough about. So I'm giving it a go again. I really like chunky books. I'll be honest. I like the ones that are really in-depth and really detailed. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. This is a Pulitzer Prize winner. And David McCullough is a well-recognized historian and historical author. He's received the Pulitzer Prize for his book Truman, the Francis Parkman Prize, and the LA Times Book Award. He's also a twice winner of the National Book Award, and that was when this was published in 2001. So, yeah, he's pretty formidable as far as an author is concerned. The audiobook is excellent. The narrator, he reads kind of like this. So I'm telling you a story, and then I come to the end of a sentence. And then I start talking about the next sentence, and I speak very articulately, but I speak very slowly. I also happen to enjoy, it's kind of like, okay, we get it. It almost sounds like he's trying to make every sentence the most important sentence he's ever read in his whole life. And it could be silly things like, Abigail wrote him a letter while he was in Philadelphia. Dun dun dun. That's what that feels like sometimes. But it's an excellent audiobook, and it's an excellent way to read dense material. So that is John Adams. Well, it looks like I'm losing the light, and I've also run out of things to say. So I am going to end it here. Just want to say thank you once again for watching and for all of your wonderful comments. Thanks for liking my videos and for enjoying my stitchy progress. It would appear that the sun is coming back. So instead of playing with variable light, I will see you guys next time. Alright, bye-bye. Do you like the needle minders? Do you like them? come see them. Do you like them? Yeah. You like the bulldog. You do. He's a bulldog. Just like you. Just like you. Can you show everybody your tongue? There's my tongue. All gone. Where's your toy? Where is it? Where's your toy?